Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, the Women's Broadcast TV Network, iTube 247. And I've been wanting to do this movie show for a long time. And one of my good friends, Mike Szymanski, and I'm in Las Vegas and he's in Los Angeles. And Mike, what are you wearing, first of all?
I'm in the heart of, oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm in the heart of Hollywood, and I don't really need to have all this. You know, it's the law to when you're outside to wear all this stuff now, but I don't really need to because I'm out here in my backyard by myself. Nobody's here except the dogs on the floor, and I got to tell you, I have a nice, beautiful background, unlike those celebrities on that one world, show, which was wonderful. That whole show was wonderful. But did you see the backgrounds on those people's celebrities' houses? They were horrible.
I didn't get a chance to see it. I was busy working.
It was ridiculous. Oprah Winfrey didn't have a better background. I mean,
yeah, she's got what, a $30 million house?
and Elton John had basketballs laying around. His piano was rolled into their kids' basketball courts, and nobody was picking up the basketballs behind them and stuff. Jimmy Fallon looked like he had a man cave. It looked like my cousin in New Jersey's little sleazy man cave in the basement. I mean, come on. I was like, oh my God, these people. John Legend couldn't do better than sitting on the staircase at his house. Oh man. So anyway, this is my view, and I know you're a Facebook friend of mine, so you saw my 1 minute of Hollywood peacefulness where I scanned the whole place for a minute without police helicopters, without sirens, without noise. It was beautiful.
I thought that was interesting. Talk about what's that feeling like, because you've been there for how many years?
30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been there for what, 30, 31 myself at that point.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a weird time. So we have no theaters open around.
No theaters, nothing. But you know what? There's a lot of ways to rediscover movies and movie classics, and I think that's really important. So yeah, I don't know. I worry about the future of theaters because I'm not sure people really want to go back.
So here's the thing. I'm a movie whore, so I would always go during the day, and I might have 4 or 6 people, but we never sat to each other anyhow. Us movie critics, we like to be by ourselves. We don't want people chatting on our phones.
We have at least one seat between us. Yeah, of course. Yeah. We
did that anyhow. So we're used to that. So here's reserved seating. This is why I never like reserved seating. Imagine if you had to sit next to someone. How many times have you gone to like the ArcLight Theater and they ask you where you want to sit, and I always say I don't want to sit there. I want to sit where I want to sit. And then I go, you pick one, because I'd be pissed off. And then they pick one, and then someone comes over and they sit next to me in an empty theater. Have you had that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have my favorite spots. I mean, I do have my favorite spots that I like to be in, and, where I have an unaltered view of the screen and don't have to worry about people texting in front of me and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. We always sat to the left on the corner as you're facing the movie theater, and we could stick our feet out in the aisle, because here's
yes.
People would always sit in the middle, and they would get up and go to the restroom in the middle of whatever. I hated that.
Right.
Let's talk about what have you been watching since you've been sequestered?
Well, so one of the things I've been doing is I've been writing a popular kind of Facebook post about rediscovering the classics, where I kind of go back to movies that I haven't seen in a long time, like Rear Window and The Fugitive, and
right.
And it's been really fun to kind of write about them. I mean, Sunset Boulevard's having an anniversary, I think, this recently. And then the other funny thing, Wednesday, I wrote it down. The movies that were inspired by the idiots in our government. So while dealing with the coronavirus, so that include Red Dawn, because I don't know, Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze was a code name for one of the groups that was trying to.
Are you talking about the original Red Dawn or the
original, not the remake? The remake was horrible. The original, where Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze are brothers.
Okay, great.
Really good movie. And it was also like 4 years before he and what's her name did Dirty Dancing together. and they were in the movie.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Grey. Yep.
Jennifer Grey, right. So, okay, that includes, so Idiocracy, which is a Mutiny on the Bounty, the original Mutiny on the Bounty, which Trump says is one of his favorite. He says he blamed some of the states for mutinying, and they were saying Mutiny on the Bounty, and he said, oh yeah, that's my favorite movie. Well, he is the perfect Captain Bligh. If you look at that movie, he is Charles Laughton in that movie. It's kind of interesting. Pandemic, Contagion, Outbreak, Virus, which is a terrible movie, but in the time period of today, it's kind of telling.
You know, it's funny. I saw Outbreak about a month ago. I was waiting for Netflix to put it up, and I kept checking, and then lo and behold, they snuck it on there. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and Contagion is really scary too. When you look back at Contagion, oh my God, that's a really it's kind of what we're living in a lot of ways.
But and here's the thing about Outbreak. Outbreak is not dated. When
no.
I watched it, I thought it was going to be a dated movie. That was like 1998.
Yeah.
Thinking, all those people, you've got Morgan Freeman in there, you got Dustin Hoffman in there, you've got Rene Russo in there, you had not John Floyd.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, and the guy with the gray hair, I can't remember. His son was on 24.
Oh, Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland, all Oscar winners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not Renee, but in general. But that's not dated. It's still good. But here's going back to a classic movie. What makes a classic movie in your opinion?
Well, I think a movie that is kind of timeless. You know, I was hesitant to even put Fugitive on there at first, but you know, The Fugitive is a classic movie.
It is a classic movie now.
When there's a reason, well, you know, what's weird is that that's a classic movie, but you and I covered the interviews with Tommy Lee Jones and you know, so, you know, it's kind of weird that we interviewed these people, and I think that at the time they even didn't think that the movie would be a success. But The Fugitive, for example, is classic because it has one of the most incredible train crash scenes ever filmed.
Absolutely.
It has some incredible stunt work. The dive from the dam and things like that. I mean, it's really breathless. I mean, you really just, the pacing of it and the way it was shot. I mean, that to me was what makes a classic movie. And just because it's an old movie doesn't necessarily mean it's a classic either.
That's true. I mean, I remember asking Robert Osborne before he passed away. It was like 4 or 5 years before he passed away at the TCM Turner Classic Movie Film Festival. I go, what makes a classic movie? Because one movie that they had only been out maybe for like 5 years. And it was like where it wasn't Do the Right Thing, but it was something like that. But at that point, it was like 20 years old. Okay, because that's not how we really think of classic movies. When I think of a classic movie, I was thinking about 12 Angry Men, or It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. But now you can have something that's 10 years ago, and it could be, I mean, John Wick can be a classic movie almost now.
Well, there has to be a reason that makes it special, and I think that when I pick a movie, it is something that makes it special, and something like Rear Window, where it's very claustrophobic, and especially in our time today, where we're all in a claustrophobic kind of situation, and this guy is like confined to a wheelchair because he broke his leg. That's Jimmy Stewart.
And he's forced to look out a window. It reminds me of the Italians right now.
Yeah, and he's forced to have poor Grace Kelly come with her beautiful outfits every day and come and, you know, bring him lunch and stuff. It's like, oh my God, that poor guy. But but he's looking out the window and he sees this world unfold before him, and it's kind of like what we're doing now. And so that's why that to me is really a timely movie. Wow, we have birds. You hear the bird effects?
I do hear them.
Talking about a Hitchcock movie and their birds are attacking.
Well, here you go. You got the birds. I think of High Noon. You know, one of my favorites, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
High Noon is incredible. Yeah.
12 Angry Men. Where you put those movies together, those classic films, and that's where we are right now. Put together.
Well, you know, another thing that has been really popular, and I think this would be really fun for your readers, your viewers to think about, is the 5 movies that you are never bored with seeing. So like, even like if you were taking them to a desert island or something, 5 movies that you can see over and over and over again and never be bored. So I have my list. I think you have your list too. So what are yours?
Well, let me ask you, what's yours first?
Okay, my first one, which I think is the best, the most perfect movie I think ever made, is Star Wars: A New Hope, which is the space western of good versus evil, and it is kind of like High Noon or a Kurosawa movie, you know, but more grokkable, I think. So that is definitely one that I never get bored of. Casablanca is my classic, I guess, in there. What else was there? Young Frankenstein, which just makes me laugh every time I see it. Even thinking about it, it makes me laugh. Is so funny. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is my musical, the one musical that I have in there. And what was the other one? I forgot what my list was. It'll come to me.
While you're thinking, I can't just have 5. I have to have 10 because I'm seeing more.
You can't have 10. You go pick 5. That's
So here would be the newer ones that I would watch.
Okay.
The Black Godfather, which is on Netflix, which I think is good.
I haven't seen that, so yeah, that's on my list of things to watch because of your list. So I appreciate that.
The other one would be Carl Laemmle, the documentary, and who started and created Universal Pictures and who started Universal City.
Oh, okay.
The fact that, you know, the Laemmle name, when we go to the independent theaters, one of my favorite movie chains is the Laemmle Theater in North Hollywood. You know, concession prices are really good. $5.75. You can get a big bucket of popcorn and still have a refill. You know what it is? Places $12. Same it, not good as popcorn, but Laemmle's popcorn is better. You know, Black Hawk Down would always be my one. It's a mad world. And then Endgame. And then if I went to newer ones, or, you know, I'm mixing everything up, I would put in, you know, obviously 12 Angry Men, Shaun of the Dead, believe it or not. I'm
love
all about zombies and everything like that. You know, Enter the Dragon, because that, you know, I became a martial artist because of that. I think of Downfall. Remember that movie Downfall?
Yeah.
That movie.
That was dark. That was very dark.
Well, it was dark, but again, talk about being claustrophobic, being in a submarine and not being able to go anyplace. Some people can relate to that now. Yeah. And the original Mary Poppins.
Oh, Mary Poppins, of course. Yeah.
That's my 5, but it's really my 10 because I see, you know, last year, Mike, I didn't see a lot of movies. I saw exactly 1,300 last year, 700 down.
Wow. Yeah.
Usually I'm hovering between 18 and 2,000.
If I was the next 5 of my 10 favorite movies would include some really obscure independent films, like there's this movie called Steam with Ruby Dee and Ali Sheedy and Chelsea Handler that that is just a beautiful, simple movie about women in a steam room, and then that's just emotionally heart-tugging. I love that movie. And the Fluffer, which actually was filmed at this house, and that's a fun kind of offbeat movie about the gay porn industry that Wash Westmoreland directed with his partner at the time, and
that was really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's cool because, you know, it was shot at this house, and my dogs were in it, and I wasn't, but they were.
Well, here's would be my additional 5 that I'll say. Let's see. So we'll go with Spotlight on how everything, because we're gonna have a new Spotlight once this is done. Whoever writes it and whoever directs it, it'll be really interesting. Yeah. Blue is the Warmest Color. You ever see that movie?
Is that part of the Red, White, and Blue series? No.
No, this is a whole different movie that was done on 2 women. They're a lesbian couple. It's a French film. It was just really good.
Huh.
I think at Temple Grandin. What else? Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, that's a good one.
Remember the movie Tangerine?
Yeah.
That movie. What else? The Raid. This guy, again, these are all movies that are kind of like trapped. This guy's trapped. It's a South Korean movie. He's trapped in a building and he's got to fight his way to the top.
I saw that. That was very disturbing. Yeah.
And then let's see, Green Book, and then the Defiant Ones. The Defiant Ones is Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, and how they came together. So you get the music part of him starting with as a recording artist, hooking up with John Lennon, going to what's his face, the Tom Petty, and coming all the way, and then you got Dr. Dre coming as a disc jockey, meeting up with NWA, and them coming together and creating Beats by Dre.
Oh, another movie that I love watching over and over again, and it's really short, but it's also very obscure, is the movie Freaks from 1931, the Todd Browning film.
Yeah. If you look at it like that, it's still kind of freaky to watch. It's almost like if you look at Nosferatu, just that image just still scares you to the day. I remember in 1930 what that was like.
Yeah, and Bride of Frankenstein, just for the laughs. I mean, it's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be a comedy. It was just very fun, campy, done by an openly gay director, which is kind of fun.
Hey, what are you watching on Netflix or Amazon, or are you watching Disney Plus? And how are you?
No, you know what? I love some of the stuff that's coming out on Netflix. I just discovered this new series called Outbreak. And one of my favorite actresses is Adina Porter, who actually I met on the set of The Fluffer when she was shooting it here. She plays the sheriff in that. And Adina Porter is a great African-American actress from, she was in American Horror Story and True Blood. And so this is a bunch of kids who, one of them, it's a class struggle, rich kids, poor kids. And she's the sheriff on this kind of island town on the east coast of the country. And one of their kids' father disappears, and then they go on this treasure hunt, which is really cool.
Where can you see that?
It's on Netflix. Just started on Netflix. It's called Outbreak, and it's only like 8 episodes. I think there'll be a sequel, but it's really good.
Okay, I didn't even know about that. Here's what people don't understand too. On the new releases, depending what your likes are, we may not see the same thing that's a new release.
Right.
There's been many times that I'm like, okay, what's a new release? Because I'm caught up on stuff. I'm like, there's got to be more stuff. And then my partner will call me and say, hey, have you seen this one? I'm like, where? It's not on my new release. It's because we're not seeing the same taste. So
yeah, and mine tends to skew toward horror and action kind of stuff. So, yeah.
See, and I want suspense thriller. I want something that's gonna make me think, and where I can't figure it out in the first 15 minutes. Because how many movies have we seen like that, and we figured it out, and we got to sit there, and we already figured it out within 15.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
and this is a good chance for people to rediscover things that they've never seen before. Like I just saw that Penny Dreadful was on. The whole series of 3 seasons of Penny Dreadful. It's really great. I mean, that's something you can watch in a weekend and binge watch. I think that the Al Pacino series on Amazon Prime, The Hunters, is just incredible. Really.
So I haven't seen that one yet because I don't have Amazon. I'm watching everything on streaming, which is interesting. I want to see that.
It's good. It's really good. Carol Kane is incredible in that, and so is Pacino. But it's really gripping show.
You know what I caught up with, and I would have never had the time. I saw Queen of the South on Netflix, which is what I liked. I saw Narcos, Colombia, and then Narcos, Mexico. Yeah. I saw all of them, all very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good, and true stories. And then, if you get a chance, Ryan Reynolds is a movie called Six Underground, and I forgot it's directed by Michael Bay. And I saw it. I just happened, what is this movie about? And I watched it, and I was like captivated from the beginning to end. I thought it was really good. It's called Six.
Oh, is that with they're all like? Yeah, I saw that. It's really good. Yeah, that was one of the things I watched. It started in the middle of the night, and I was really surprised to see how good it was.
Exactly. And then,
Dolomite, the Dolomite movies with Eddie Murphy. Oh my God, that is such an incredible.
Oh, Dolomite. Yeah, that was really good.
I watched that, and then I was so entranced that I looked up the original, because they're all on Amazon Prime too. The original Dolomite, there's a whole series, and it's amazing how shot for shot Eddie Murphy was in that movie. They did such a good job in that.
Hi, well, what's your website like, so people can look you up and all the stuff that you've done, and talk about when you were teaching and stuff like that in UCLA Film School?
Well, yeah, I don't have a website per se anymore. Well, my stuff is now appearing on theartofmontague.com.
That's right. Yeah.
Montague with a Q-U-E, and I actually will have some movie reviews that will be under Movie Reviews and More. Thanks to you.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Oh, and I'm also very excited about, because I'm bored, I've been putting stuff on Amazon Kindle. So I have my Dachshund book that just came out.
I didn't even know you had that
Delightful
book.
Dachshund Tale. And I have a second book called The Long and Short, which is 100 pages long, all about dachshunds and dachshund fun facts. And then just to show my other side, I have my Mickey Ski books also up online as well. So they have just been published, 6 of them. And they're all on same-sex liaisons with celebrities and other kind of nasty names under Mickey Ski. So they're all on Kindle. If you are a member of Amazon Kindle, you can get them for free. And otherwise, they're kind of just at cost, and you can print them out as paper book at cost. It's pretty cheap.
Do you miss teaching students coming out? And how would you teach them today?
I don't think I would like having to teach online. My nephew is taking classes at UCLA. He likes it because they're one-on-one with the teachers, which is kind of interesting.
But the teachers don't like it. I've talked to 3 different teachers in 3 different states. They don't like it.
Yeah, my sister teaches middle school, and she goes till the end of the year online. They're not going to come back, and she doesn't like it very much. And it's very sad because my youngest nephew was going to graduate this year in high school. Well, he is still going to graduate, but he doesn't have his prom, he doesn't have his graduation, and he was going to be the valedictorian to give the speech, and they don't have that anymore.
Oh, see, that's sad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he just told me yesterday, he said, I just realized that I'm never going to be going back to my school to see my friends. They're all going to be off to college.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's actually sad.
Yeah, he sees them online and he sees them on the Zoom chats, whatever. But yeah, it's really just horrible.
So I have an end game and I kind of know what's going to happen, and I really do. How do you see things happening today, right now in Los Angeles, in your point of view, and how do you see the movie industry?
Well, it's disturbing because now that the Georgia industry has opened up, I can see a lot of Hollywood stuff going over to the Tyler Perry studios and working over there now. And they're gonna poach a lot of our filming because we're not allowed to open up here, and the studios are not allowed to open up yet for another month at least. And so as of today, Georgia's starting up, and they're going to be, I don't know, they're going to be beating us and taking our work away. I really worry about movie theaters. I just don't know how it's going to, to me, the idea of sitting in the dark in the theater with other people around you at a distance was always interesting. I was getting a little more frustrated because too many people were reading their things on their phones or texting and stuff during the movie, which was making me crazy, and I'd throw popcorn at them. But I just don't know if if people are going to do that anymore. I don't know.
So here's the thing. I spend a lot of time in Georgia because my mother lives there and my sister lives there. So Here's what's not going to happen. No one is going to release anything new in Georgia. No one is going to be going to that state, one, because of the governor, because you can't open a theater in Georgia if you don't have them opening in Vegas and Hollywood and New York. It's just.
But you can make the movie. What I'm saying is they're going to make the movies there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You still got to get people going to the movie, and I don't see that happening. And I've been to the movies in Georgia. That's like my getaway when I go. When someone was going, I would see people lined up, and I was surprised. But they were going for the big budget ones. Now, here's where I would take it. Maybe take a chance on the independent films. Maybe. But who's going to go to the theater first? And then here's the other thing. How good do we know that they cleaned that theater in between showings? Because it's like getting off an airplane. Do you think they really clean the airplane the best they can? No, they got to get people in and out there. Because here's what they don't do. And this is the reason why I have the restroom kits. Remember I have these things? Sonia Macy. I found them 4 years ago. Their business is doing really, really good. You can take it any place. It's even more relevant now, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I've been promoting it for the last 4 years. But here's the thing. They don't clean the trays on the airlines. In between flights, they don't have time. So you imagine when's the last time that was clean? Do you really think people are going to clean the theaters in the dark? I've been in there and been one of the last leads because, we would stay for the end credits where most people take off. So I know they don't really clean. If they don't see anybody in that aisle, they're not going to clean the aisle. Are you kidding me? I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
And the reason we can say that because we've been going to the theaters, we didn't really sit next to each other. Even when we were near each other, we would sit away because most of the time we would have an empty theater or a private screening. That's how I see it happening. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I worry about that. Do you think the Oscars are going to be held on time? I mean, with all the releases being pushed back?
Here's what I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out if the Emmys for mid-September is going to be held. I'm leaning towards no, but if they did do it, how would you do it? You're going to only invite half the people? Because there's no way you're going to invite everybody. What, you're going to have them skip a red carpet? Or you don't have a red carpet? The red carpet's gone now? I think so.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We are going to have a second, a third, fourth wave. This is not going to go away. We're going to have to learn to live with a virus. We're going to have to be able to learn to adapt, adjust, and be very flexible. That's just the world that we live in right now. And if you can do those three things, you'll make it. Because here's what's not going to work. There's going to be a lot of small businesses that just don't make it.
Yeah. Sad but true.
And then how are you going to do the TV shows? We know there's going to be doctors on the set all the time. I think you're going to end up taking people's temperatures before you go in and out. And then here's the thing, there's going to always be someone who's going to get sick. And then what happens if someone just has a simple cough? What, everybody's going to turn around and run out of the theater? I don't see it happening.
And I don't know if I would want to go to a restaurant either, knowing that somebody around me is coughing or something like that. I freaked out in the post office the other day when a woman was coughing like a storm, and I didn't even want to go in. Even
and what do you do? So I always have the restroom kit with me. I always have the Ellipto hand sanitizer with me. I've had it. So I've been accustomed to this and I wash my hands 30 times a day. And I say 30 because I used to be on a ranch. I used to have to do all these things. So I know what it's like to do all this stuff, And the phone is constantly ringing, so that's all that is. So when it comes to that, I know about all of these things like that. So here we are. So I've been doing this since 2008 with all the stuff that I've been doing. So you got a lot of writer friends and directors and actors and actresses. How are they feeling? Have you been talking to them a lot?
Yeah, they're claustrophobic. I mean, Sally Kirkland does she's an Oscar nominee, actress. She does a 5 o'clock kind of check-in with her friends, and then a meditation. So I join that every once in a while. I have another friend of mine who does an Austin Powers impersonator, and he also sings Tin Pan Alley music, and every other week he sings these old 1920s songs from the Depression era, which is, Brother, Can You Spare a Dime, and things like that were really timely songs. But so people entertain each other, and I think that's really nice. But Rick Springfield, he actually taught people how to play Jesse's Girl on the guitar online. And I think
that's great. I mean, even us, I'm not a Zoom fan and I'm not a Skype fan. I like doing my stuff in person. So movie reviews and more. So yes, we have our 6 feet of distance. I already have that locked. I already have my places to shoot where I only need my camera. I'm waiting for my Sony camera to come in the mail, where I can just set up my camera, and I already have the girls. We already got it set up. If we can get, as of today, 3.5 million views a day and counting out of Tennessee, in Franklin, Tennessee, then I could shoot the shows anywhere around the world and get away with it with just 4 people.
Of course, I miss the lovely ladies that we always had when we did these in person too. So you always had some really great co-hosts and
well, we're still there, and and now we're considered social media influencers in our own different way. But I look at it this way. My views are still going up. It's not about the followers. You can unfollow someone. It's not about the likes. You can unlike someone. It's not about the subscribers. You can unsubscribe. But you can't unview a view. It's about views. So with 4.5 million views a day and counting and 74 million views a month, no one is beating what we're doing around the world, Mike. We're in a great spot. So with all the people that are reaching out to on LinkedIn,
Pretty cool.
all the people who are, DM me and on Instagram and everybody else, keep doing it. I have my team, but, kind of breaking into a good team, it's kind of hard to do, but you never know what gem you're going to find out there. So you always kind of always inviting, if that makes sense.
That's great. That's great.
And then for you, talk about what it was like for you to teach at UCLA when you could, because we had a pre, 9/11 and then after 9/11. So now we got a pre-virus, and now we have an after virus. What were you doing then? How you were teaching then? And if you had to be a teacher now, how would you do it a different way?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a lot of it. The important parts of teaching journalism was actually explaining things in person, and I think even journalism has changed online. I mean, when you see, especially the broadcasters, they're all doing, they're not only interviewing from home, but they're doing interviews with people from home, and that's how you can see what's on people's bookshelves or what their kitchens are like, and it's kind of a new way of doing journalism too. So I think people are going to be more doing Skype and Zoom interviews, and I wonder how the junket press is going to deal with this too. I think we probably won't even have these one-on-one roundtable interviews like we.
That's it. They're gone. Unless you're our outlet, and we can have you come, because I did the official last interview with Sergio Mendes and director John Schofield, and that was at the Grammy Museum, and that was today's Tuesday, so that was 8 Tuesdays ago. It was also when I walked out of the Grammy Museum downtown LA. That was the last Lakers game. The Lakers, they hadn't let out yet. They were coming out, and I wanted to see how many were in the crowd, but I had to get back. I was going to Vegas, and I was on my Segway. That was also, NHL season was called that night. Major League Baseball had delayed everything. That was 8 Tuesdays ago. And we sat in the Grammy Museum, and we did the last 4 interviews together. Now, Sergio, I would have separated, but it was just how we had to do it. We had 3 interviews. I was the only one doing TV and radio, and I had Miss America, Joanna Harbedian and David Harbedian with me from Orange County. But it was one of those things that was it. There aren't going to be any more junkets, and I hate to say that. There just aren't. But with all,
can you imagine the days that we had, where Tom Hanks or Dustin Hoffman or Susan Sarandon would come in and shake everybody's hand or around the table before we'd start, and we'd all sit down, and they'd tell us, what are your names, what are your outlets, and get to know you, and that kind of stuff is never going to happen again. I can't even imagine Tom Hanks going into any room and wanting to shake people's hands anymore after what he's been through. And
he can't do it now, technically, either, So he was cutting back on interviews. So Patrick Stoner from PBS did probably the last Tom Hanks interview. I forgot what the movie it was. Well, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Probably it, because of what he has, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole new world. I don't know.
So what do you look forward to seeing if they do release something? Because right now they haven't canceled Top Gun for December.
I just saw a trailer for The Undertaker's Wife. Have you heard about that?
Who's in it?
I forget. It's one of these new young actresses, but The Undertaker's Wife, I just saw it on Facebook, or somebody sent it to me, and it looks really creepy. It looks really good and creepy, and it looks like a big budget independent big budget independent horror movie. No, it can't be. It looks like a big budget studio movie. I'm looking forward to the new James Bond whenever that comes out.
Right. Well, right now it's still for late November, December. So still maybe it may come out, and there's a chance, because like I said, things will start to pick up a little bit in a different way after September 16th, but we still don't know. Now, remember, for us people who vote and stuff like that, That's not a lot of times to see anything of what we don't even know what we're going to see. But we
Right.
do know this. Disney always had their Marvel films and some Pixar films 5 years in advance. So a lot of the movies that we be seeing now, whether it's Wonder Woman or Fast and Furious, most of it's pushed to next year because Wonder Woman's been canceled, pushed back 3 times already.
Yeah, and Fast and Furious, they moved to like 2 years from now, I think.
Absolutely. So, you know, they don't have a choice because they got to make that money back. You're not going to make that money back in Georgia or Montana or South Dakota. It's just not going to happen. You know, an independent film may have a chance, may. And then still, it goes back to the basics. You got to get people to go out and go to.
Well, I saw Justin Chang, the critic from the LA Times, wrote a column about if the Oscars were held today, you know, because if there were no other movies that were out before, he was saying that the Invisible Man, what's her name, the Handmaid's Tale actress,
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, that she would, Elizabeth Banks, right? No, well,
no.
Anyway, that she would be nominated for Best Actress because, and you know, that was a good movie, but it wasn't that good. I mean,
no, it wasn't. You know, she was good.
Yeah, but I mean, and that it'd be kind of sad if that ends up being our like Best Picture top contender. But you know.
So, but here's the other thing, Michael. Think about this. Are there going to be any award shows? That's the big question. Because everything is canceled right now, except for TCA. They haven't canceled. They haven't thrown in the towel yet. They're the last ones. But when they do, they're not going to have a choice. What celebrity's going to show up? Come on. For a summer press tour for new and returning TV shows, there aren't any. You don't know when you're going to start production. You just don't. So you're going to tell me they're going to have new and returning TV shows? I don't think so.
I just don't think that people are going to take a chance. They're not going to let their celebrity clients take a chance in going to those, shaking people's hands and whatever. No, not at all. The things that you and I enjoyed doing back in the day, and it wasn't that long ago, but it seems a long time ago, it's gone. You can't get it back. Once something is gone, you can't get it back. They're going to have to wipe off the Oscars before they hand them to people.
Hey, I feel bad for a lot of the people who are doing red carpets. I really feel bad for a lot of the independent films that, we would always support because the Art of Montague likes to support independent films. There's a great film that I like that I want to support. In the Key of Joy, Sergio Mendes, directed by John Scofield. But he also has on ABC, they delayed it because I talked to someone yesterday about it. It was going to be May 10th. It was going to be the documentary on Gary Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got to watch it, I think, online. I'm not sure. Same director. But what I really look forward to, he's got Herb Albert, the documentary. And I really want to see that because these are icons. Now, will we be able to meet them again ever? I don't know. I got a good chance. But the answer is the average person, no, because they're of age. And we don't know what they may or may not have health reason-wise,
Yeah, you don't want to take a chance. I'm actually getting my test tomorrow. I'm going to go, my partner and I both have a couple of symptoms, and so we're going to go get our test in the morning.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right, last words, website, anything you see you want to see coming up on any of the outlets, what might they be?
I'm just hoping that people don't forget films and that they actually go back to movies once it's safe to do so. I really do believe that some of the big chains are going to be really careful about cleaning up and social distancing and even reconfiguring their theaters. But the act of actually going into a theater in a big screening room and watching things in the dark is so much different than even your best home theater. And we have a pretty nice one here, so I know what that's like, but it's just so much different. And I would hate to see that go away.
Well, and yes, and this was our life. We spent most, if not 3/4 of our life now in a darkened theater. So we know personally what that's like. And like I said, when I travel around, I purposely made it a point to go to those theaters, the Patriot, to see what it's like, to talk to the people in line. I never knew that I was a critic. I was just some black guy to them. And then, you know, what do you do? And then I would give them my card and go, oh, you do movies? I'm like, that's such a cool job. I'm like, well, until you have to see a lot of bad movies, but still. Bill Margot, my old co-host, who we have both adored, he said this to me: when it comes to movies, there are no right or wrong answers.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that you and me and Bill, you know, when I think we figured it out one time, we would spend the equivalent of the whole month of January and most of February in the theater in the dark, 24 hours a day, if we added up the amount of movies we would see in 1 year. So it would be like, yeah, back to back. If we were in the theaters, you know, that long period of time, it was well over a month. We'd be in the theaters every year.
I still do that. I just do it a different way, because coming from home video, going back to 1991, I never knew how many movies I watched on home video. So 1992, I kept a list. So I can tell you every day, right up until last year, right up until this year, I'm still writing them down on a notebook, longhand, because I want to know what I'm watching a month. I want to know, you know, what am I seeing on the big screen? I can tell you what I'm not seeing on the big screen now. I can tell you the last one, what month it was. You know, it was last month. We can't see it right now. But everybody knows what it's like for us to be that movie critic now, to kind of watch and binge watching. Well, before they came up with the word binge, we were always doing our marathon, going from one screening room to another to another. We were always doing that.
Yep, yep.
All right, so for Mike Szymanski, I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, the Women's Broadcast TV Network, Worldwide TV Network, ITT47. I like the show. I thought it was good. And Mike's, you know, going back into protecting mode, and I'm always by myself in the house in protecting mode. We will see you again next week.
Thank you.